speaking of audio, let's turn to Bill English and the release of the audio of his interview with police in April of last year. The interview was part of the police investigation into the secret recording by Clutha Southland MP Todd Barclay of a staff member in Barclay's electorate office in Gore. That staff member, Glenys Dickson, had previously worked with Bill English for almost 17 years. For such an unusual interview, it begins in a thoroughly ordinary fashion. Date, name, occupation.
The date is the 27th of April, and we're at an address in... If I could just get you to state your full name, please.
Simon William English.
And it's a witness interview recorded by dictaphone, and it relates to an allegation that Todd Barclay recorded a private conversation in his electoral office of his staff while they were making phone calls. Your current occupation and role?
Member of Parliament, Minister of Finance.
Yeah.
You don't often hear that kind of thing. There's more of that routine, although rather bizarre exchange. And then the interview turns to a text conversation between Bill English and the National Party chair in the Clutha Southland electorate. That's a man named Stuart Davey. Now, that text conversation took place on the 21st of February 2016. And we pick up now the interview with Detective Superintendent Peter Reid.
And that text conversation was in relation to a meeting that Mr Davey had with Todd Barclay and an allegation that was put to him about recording a conversation with some staff members.
He must have, Mr Davey didn't describe the background. He simply wanted to know whether the allegations around recordings which were associated with Mrs Dickson leaving her position, whether those were correct or not.
I'm just showing you, this is a printout of copies of the text conversation that's taken place. If I could just get you to have a look at that and confirm that that's, to your best of your recollection, the text messaging conversations that you had with Mr Davey.
That looks like it. Yeah.
There's several pages. The light coloured is your response.
Yeah, that looks like it.
And in this text conversation, you mentioned that Mr Barclay has used a dictaphone to record conversations in his electorate office. How did you must have had a conversation with Mr Barclay. How did you become aware of the fact that he was recording phone calls in his office?
I had a conversation with him regarding Glenys Dickson leaving his office, and he said to me that he had recordings of her criticising him.
Whereabouts did those conversations take place?
Oh, I can't be sure. Probably, well, certainly in Wellington, but I can't tell the case. In Parliament, but I couldn't tell.
It was a face-to-face conversation. It wasn't over. You weren't talking to him on a phone.
No.
Did he say?
Yes, it was a face-to-face conversation.
Did he say how he'd recorded them, or how he'd used a dictaphone to record them?
Yeah, he just said he'd left the dictaphone
on. Was there any conversation in terms of the detail of how he did that?
No.
What prompted the conversation? Did he raise it with you, or did you raise it with him?
I can't recall.
Okay. And he said the recordings took place in his electorate office. Do you know which one? He's got a couple.
Well, I assumed the Gore one because that's where Glenys Dickson went.
Okay. Were you aware that it was Glenys Dickson that had been recorded?
Yes, I was.
Did you ever hear the recordings, or were you shown the dictaphone?
No.
Do you know if was Todd present when the recordings were made, or was he absent from the office?
I don't know.
That's it. I've got no more questions. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
You got anything further that you want to say or add?
No, not particularly.
Bill English talking to police in April of last year. Now, all of that was actually on the public record by now, although it took a very long time and some good work by our colleagues at Newsroom to get it there. But the extent to which Bill English was very explicit about knowing of this secret recording took a long time to be revealed. And during the period in which it wasn't revealed, Todd Barclay, of course, was reselected as candidate for that electorate. So we did want to talk to Bill English about why everyone remained so mum for so long. He wasn't available for an interview this evening. That audio just released this afternoon, but it was, in fact, from the police interview in April of last year.